Humm, baby.
Enjoy this great game.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel. This is Eric, and today we're talking about some of the negotiations that are taking place and some of the players that have been a little bit outspoken last couple days, causing a little bit of a stir over in social media on Twitter and things like that, as they've come out and pretty much are saying, hey, this is bullcrap. We've already come to an agreement with the owners and we should not have to take a penny less. Let's go. They're ready to play. And now the owners are saying, hey, no, we want to do this revenue splitting 50-50, and it's become a big point of contention, I'm sure, in the negotiations. And then we're going to talk about how Blake Snell has come out and said some things, how Trevor Bauer has come out and said some things, and now even some of the biggest superstars in the game like Nolan Arenado and Bryce Harper have also come out and are on the side, obviously, of the players. And this is an interesting situation. Back in 1994, it was not difficult to come out and say, hey guys, get it together, stop being greedy, take what you can, let's play. It was easy to say that because, first of all, at that time, for me, I was 14 years old, so I really wasn't worried about the economics of the situation. I just wanted some baseball. Secondly, there was no risk back then. There was no coronavirus. There's no weird situation. They weren't going to have to play to no fans or anything like that. It was just normal baseball. The beautiful life of playing Major League Baseball is all that they had to worry about, and they still couldn't come to an agreement, and a World Series got canceled, and it was total bull crap, okay? I understand now why they went on strike, and I understand, you know, trying to stand up for what's right and trying not to get taken advantage of as far as for the principle of the matter and for future players. You want to protect that union, protect what's rightfully yours. Nevertheless, at that time, it's clearly understandable why people were pissed off and calling players greedy and all that, because, like, really, you guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, you can't figure this thing out. Now I feel like players are getting a little more support from the public than they were back then, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that if they do play, they're going to have to play some weird conditions, not only risky conditions, which we'll talk about, where they, you know, there's this virus out there and they're going to have to go to work and play, but they're also may have to play some weird form of baseball with a lot of rules that they're not used to, not allowed to spit, not having mound visits, universal DH, you know, that may not be a big deal, but everything adds up. All these weird things, not to mention playing with no fans, you know, that's not really the game that they're used to playing. And if they go out there and have to play this weird game, they've already agreed and have come to an agreement that I talked about, that the players would get a prorated salary, which makes perfect sense to me, and that agreement was already done. So it's clear now why the players are like, hey, now you want more, you want even a further cut, or you want to do this revenue sharing crap. You know, they're not down for that, and I can understand why. I think I wouldn't really be down for that as a player because of the conditions. It's like, look, we can wait till next year because this ain't normal baseball. If it was normal baseball, I might be one of the players like, look, whatever, you guys figure it out, and I'm down for whatever because I know I'm getting paid ridiculous money anyway. The minimum wage is more than freaking enough. So, you know, there's that. But that being said, you still got to think, like I said, about the future players. You don't want to get taken advantage of. There is a principle here. And, you know, it's just like any job. You don't want to get taken advantage of. Your skill is your skill, and you deserve to get compensated properly for that. So there's a lot of sides here and a lot of things to consider. But let's get into what's going on here with specific players. And this is from CBS Sports' Gabriel Fernandez. Bryce Harper on Blake Snell's refusal to accept reduced MLB salary. He is speaking the truth. And I heard a little snippet of Blake Snell talking about the situation, you know, on Twitch or whatever with his headphones on. But he's basically saying, man, after this pay cut and then they want to cut even more money, man, I ain't getting barely paid shit. That doesn't come off very well the way he said it. And then talking about, I got to risk everything. The risks are through the roof. He really went extreme with it. First of all, not getting paid barely shit. For you, you're going to get paid well over at least $1 million a year, because I know your contract right now is $7-8 million. So you're getting paid millions. I wouldn't call that not shit, especially I wouldn't say that to the public. That's just, you know, my advice. And also how he talked about how the risks are through the roof. You know, I thought he was going a little over the top. Yes, there's definitely some risk. You guys are the ones going out there playing, you know, risking your health while the owners can stay home or whatever, stay isolated. So there's definitely that. But there's going to be no fans. So you're going to be interacting with other people that are getting tested, interacting with other people that are pretty much being quarantined. So you're going to be a much safer position than someone, say, working at 7-Eleven who has to come into contact with customers all day long. You know, basically, those are the fans of 7-Eleven, and they're allowed in there because they need that money to operate. So while customers are coming into those stores and whatever, grocery stores and all that, they're not going to be coming into the ballparks. There's going to be no customers there. So you don't have to worry about that. So I think the risk is not quite as crazy as he made it sound. That being said, yes, you guys are the one risking it, not the owners. To the article, Rays pitcher Blake Snell caused a stir Thursday after he openly stated that he wouldn't play baseball for a reduced salary in 2020 because it would risk him and his family. Snell wasn't alone in this line of thinking and has now received backing from two of the biggest stars in the sport, Bryce Harper and Nolan Arenado. He ain't lying, he's speaking the truth, bro. Harper said, I ain't mad at him. Someone's got to say it. At least he manned up and said it. Good for him. I love Snell. The guy's a beast, one of the best lefties in the game. And then Arenado said, I think he was just being honest, just being real. He made a lot of good points. There are some points he made that were true, that are facts. A lot of it gets misperceived. Trying to get the public to understand us, it's not going to work very well in our favor. There's no doubt about that, because just, the money you make. But I saw an interesting tweet from Trevor Bauer, who was responding to this same kind of criticism. Scott Gilbert tweeted out, but you have to remember your pay, even with a cut, is still many times more than most people. Others are going to work and risking their lives too, and they get pennies compared to dollars. Expecting them to sympathize with your plight is naive. And Trevor says, okay, so the rules should change depending on the dollar amount in question. If so, what's the cutoff to you? That is an interesting point, because right is right, wrong is wrong, and that would never fly in a normal job, even a decent paying job. Even if you were, getting, I don't know what you're making $2,000 a week, pretty decent money, nowhere near what these guys are making. But let's just say you're making $2,000 a week, and your job says, oh, we got to cut you back. We got to cut you back to $1,800 a week because this is really slow times, tough times. And you say, okay, during this time, I can deal with that. We're going to cut down to $1,800. You show up to work one day and say, actually, it's going to be $1,600. Whoa, you can't just keep dropping every time you feel like it. We already agreed $1,800 during this time. We already agreed. And nobody would go for that. Companies just saying, we're going to pay you a little less, we're going to pay you a little less, we're going to pay you a little less. Especially when an amount was already agreed upon. And that's what they're saying. They already agreed upon this amount. So, no one in a normal job would stand for it. And they're not going to stand for it. And they have a union, and they're going to fight for, what they feel is rightfully theirs, which is the prorated salaries that they already agreed upon, which makes perfect sense. There's no way they could come out and say, no, I want my full salary regardless of how many games we play. I mean, that would just be stupid. Obviously, you can't. You're not playing 162 games. You're going to get paid for what you play, and I feel like that was the agreed upon decision, and that they should stick with that. But the owners are now going for something else that they know dang well that players and the union are strictly and heavily against, and that is revenue sharing, because they feel like that is the road to the salary cap, and they don't want nothing to do with that. And this is what stopped baseball in '94. So the owners just even trying to mention that it's messed up. We should look at the owners as the ones who are really going to stop baseball, because, the players, yes, they get paid millions and millions and millions. Even the minimum major league wage is ridiculous money, more than I could dream of making. I mean, it's crazy. So, the minimum is like $450,000 a year. Minimum. So there's no doubt the public isn't going to take this well. But you also have to think about, and the main thing I think about is the conditions this year. Not normal baseball, totally different than '94, and that's kind of why I'm a little bit on the player's side this time. Not that I agree with Blake Snell's phrasing and the way he goes about it, talking about, man, I ain't gonna barely make shit, which is just stupid to say that, because you're still making over $1 million. So it's just the phrasing, the way he put it, I thought was just like, come on, man, at least say, yeah, I'm only gonna make a very small percentage of what I was expecting to make. Okay, that's fine. Don't say you're not gonna make barely shit. And acting like, oh, the risks are through the roof when, it's just a bad look. The way he said it is a bad look. But the overall point that he's making, there's a point to be made that you're going out there during this weird time, you're going to play some weird baseball, and you're going to be risking yourself much more than the owners who are completely isolated in their houses, chilling, trying to pay you less than you already agreed upon. Anyway, what do y'all think of the players and their thoughts? And they're going through this money war. It's hard to watch because, obviously it's not easy for us who are getting paid little pennies and trying to survive. And these guys getting paid $1 million a year to play baseball, and they're bickering over it. It's rough, but that's just the situation. That's the way it's going to be. They got a union. The union is going to fight for their guys, and they're going to fight for what they think is right. Right's wrong. Right's wrong. Right is right, and wrong is wrong. And you got to stand for your principles. So we'll see how this thing works out. Let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and to hit that thumbs up button. You guys have a fantastic day, and I'm going to talk to you next time. See ya! When the Giants come to town, it's 5